What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we dive into a Bant multiverse deck that I have thrown together, playing around the card One with the Multiverse, a spell that costs 8 mana. We can look at the top card of our library anytime. We can play land cards from the top of our library and also cast spells from the top of our library. And then once during our turn, we can play a spell from our hand and top of our library for free, meaning that we pay 0 mana, which is definitely very good. In doing so, we have ways to hopefully ramp us up into possibly playing that card for 8 mana, maybe a few turns earlier, with a bunch of different ramp spells like Awaken the Woods. We have Cartographer's Survey. Celestis is a mix and appearance in the deck, as well as the Mightstone and Weakstone here, as we do play Urza to make some of our sorcery, instance, and artifact spells cost 1 less to play. This card will help us either remove something with a -5/-5 ability, as well as draw 2 cards. And on top of that, if we get an Urza out as well, we can then possibly transform our Urza Planeswalker, depending on the game state, which is definitely very good. Another couple key expensive cards that we play in the deck that hopefully will take advantage of the One with Multiverse is one being Portal to Phyrexia. Getting this card on the battlefield, making our opponent sacrifice 3 things is definitely very good, and then possibly taking those 3 things and then using them against our opponent. We have Titan of Industry in the deck, which definitely helps out depending on what our opponent is playing, and we can use one of our 2 of these abilities depending on what that is. And also the World Spell, which is a card that I don't see a lot of play of, but it's a 7 mana enchantment saga that the first 2 chapters we can look at top 7 cards of our library. We can reveal a non-saga permanent card from among them, put it into our hand, meaning outside of itself we can pretty much get almost everything that's permanent from this into our hand for essentially the first 2 abilities. And on the 3rd chapter, we can then take 2 non-saga permanent cards from our hand and put them onto the battlefield. So for 7 mana, we could possibly just cheat out a One with the Multiverse and a Portal to Phyrexia, depending on what the game state is. If we already have them on our hand, we can just read ahead immediately, get to that 3rd chapter to get them out, and essentially start taking over the game, depending on how it is going for us. Overall, this is definitely a deck that is a little bit on the lighter side, trying to really put things on the battlefield early. We're really trying to ramp up to the higher end. Let's just dive into some games, kind of see how this deck does, and then kind of go from there. Hand looks promising. A little bit slow because of the tap lands, but we're on the play again, so I guess we will play our tap land. Say go. Just hope that we're not against anything super aggressive. Possibly mono blue again. So, all right, Dimir, which isn't bad. It's just a matter of what kind of Dimir are they. It'd be interesting if they take like a One with the Multiverse or Portal Phyrexia, because we're nowhere close. Urza, though, feels weird because I guess the fact that we have 2, but they do take 1. I mean, all they need is a removal spell, and that's good. And we'll just play 1 to force possibly the idea of them having to have removal, which more than likely, since they are playing Dimir, there's a good chance they do. I guess we'll play a. We'll get rid of Portal. Tap land's not ideal from this position. Just because it would have been nice if we were able to get like a Might and Weakstone out. All right. Definitely a lot of tap lands. Also, a little nervous that we haven't drawn anything. I guess our opponent's like, oh crap, they have the Might and Weakstone, so I got to deal with this at some point. All right. What does this do? Exile or choose a card name, search your opponent's graveyard, hand, and library for up to 4 cards with the same name. Interesting. I'll draw 2 cards. And kind of just continue pecking at them. I'm just curious on what our opponent thinks they're going to name here. I'd assume they're going to crack the brain. I guess they're examining like what they know information-wise. All right, what are you naming, opponent? One with the multiverse? Sure. I have 3. So they give us a card, though, which is interesting. But we're definitely in a good spot here. I mean, if they don't have a removal spell, we could just flip into Urza. And then kind of take the game over, because we'll just meld. Like, there's no way that they don't have. Alright. We'll activate. And they have no removal spell in response.
Victory is assured.
And we'll just get rid of the beetle, just because we can. They have removal for... Sure, I'll get rid of one of my lands. And I guess we'll make tokens, so they can't attack down Urza.
Fall into place.
I guess Black has a couple ways to deal with Planeswalkers. Just a matter of what our opponent's going to do about it. Sure. So definitely a very interesting deck, I would say, overall. Well, let's see if they do anything about this. My assumption is they are going to play something to protect it. And which they do. And then we will... create some soldiers. Draw 2 cards. I think we draw 2 cards. Sweet.
You are outwitted and outmatched.
We'll discard a land card here. I think the Rafine's Tower is fine. And then we'll play one with the Multiverse. And we'll just go to Chapter 3 since we already have a play. And we'll just do 2 of these. We'll draw 2. And then make them sacrifice. And we'll swing for 2. So definitely not bad for us. Definitely got the advantage of that exchange. And now we're going to slowly maybe use our opponent's creatures against them. I mean, we could take a beetle. We could take the Drake. Beetle's probably really good here because it hits the hand. We'll get rid of the land. I mean, the more spells they play from their hand, the worse it's off for them. We'll take the beetle. Make you discard. They discard the land. Survey's fine. Why don't we just plus up Urza? And we'll play Cartographer's Survey. And we'll get 2 lands. And we'll just attack him for 1 and see what they do. And we have counter magic. We can sacrifice things on the battlefield, get it back. So they really need something. We'll just do this for 2. Yeah, and Urza's just going to take over. All right, good win for us. Playing a weird deck. Hey, if you're liking the deck, I have it linked down in the description below if you want to check it out. And if you're also liking the video, remember to hit that like button. Definitely helps out the channel. With that being said, let's get back into the next game. Opponent goes first. Hand's fine. We got our interactive lands. Definitely not a bad hand to have. I guess, against maybe a possible more aggressive deck. But looks like they're Dimir, so maybe a little bit on this lower side. I'll play my Plains. All right. I'll play my island. Let's say go. Opponent has... Okay. So they're paying maybe like a draw 2 style deck, which isn't too bad for us. So they're Esper draw. That's fine. Now we can get a Sunset in here. We could possibly Karn Silex here. We have some possibilities. But I think playing like Sunset's actually really good. Urza's actually interesting, but they have flyers. I think we get the Silex down. Just we don't want that to get countered. Is probably I think the best bet, and that may make them think about slowing down what they're doing. Could use some land too. 3 lands, we are open in hand. These are all the lands. Haven't drawn another land. Doesn't feel great. So, Horn's really in the tank though. What they want to do. Got to stem some bleed in though, one way or the other. So it's either they play stuff and we play into it, or okay, we take 4. They have something. They have something. They're debating on whether or not they want to play it. If it costs 4, then I can't do anything about it. So I have one of 2 ways I could do this. I could Urza Protector. I could just get rid of everything on the battlefields. I think I may and see what's going on. We'll just get rid of it, slow the lead in. Unless they have another Fairy Vandal. There's nothing they're going to attack us with, so it's not like we're going to get hit again. So they have 5 mana. We gotta put pressure on. I mean, we're at 14. We're gonna gain 4 from the Sunset if it resolves. When announcement's fine for us. So they're like Esper Control. Or mid-range. I don't know what to explain, because they have like Fairy Vandal, which is very like, my opinion, very like aggro-y-ish, because it's a creature that wants to attack. We play Urza. A little Revelry here. And now some of our stuff costs cheaper, which is good. They can't attack if they could attack if they wanted to. They'd have to get like direct removal for that. So they were probably wondering if they should have played Wet Announcement the turn I was going to Silex. So it kind of threw them off curve a little bit. So they wanted to draw a card. Interesting. Block the dog. I think what they wanted to get me into is a position where I chump block with both 1/1s, and then they invoke and kill the Urza anyway. So if they invoke here, I just sacrifice a 1/1 token. I get to draw a card. Sweet. So they were going to depopulate anyway to then draw a card. Bankbuster. Tapping out. Good for us. Drawing a card. Not a land. Very heavy on what we're doing here on the top end of our deck. We're about a coin flip away from getting land, which I think in this matchup we really want land. It's just a matter of what our opponent has. Another companion. That's it. Okay. 2 2s. 2 2s. I guess I gotta play this. They're gonna counter it. Or not. Okay. So letting us ramp up back, catch back up in mana, which is interesting. They're looking at our graveyard, which also puzzles me. Gonna take a little bit of a hit from the creatures. I'm assuming they're not gonna attack with Bankbuster just because it doesn't make sense for them to in this position. Take 4. And drawing a card. Okay. And tons of cards in hand. Shieldred. Land. Alright, gonna take a hit. So do I play into their open mana and get rid of their battlefields? Like playing one with the multiverse seems okay, but it's not great. Just because they could have a counter spell. So I think playing like Depopulate makes the most sense from this position. Because even if they had a counter spell, even if they sacrifice a token, we still have the mana to pay for the Make Disappear, which I assume is probably a possible counter spell they could have in that position. What an announcement. And they're going to draw their card. And now they have 3 mana open, so they just need like a natural counter spell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I could word spell them and then see what's up. They want to counter it, I guess, straight up. All right, we're going to go right to chapter 3. Trigger on the stack. Sacrifice 3 things. Sweet. And we'll play this for 0. We'll just do chapter 1. We'll dig. I'll grab a Wonder and Emperor. And our opponent scoops because we have free spells. And I guess we're going to get their Shieldred back, maybe? On the play. Hand's fine. We'll put our tap land out immediately. And then we have 4 lands, so good there. Is it? It is it? We'll say go. Not going to play our Sunset into nothing. Might as well let them put some pressure on the battlefields. I mean, if they're not doing anything, I mean, that's always good for us because we're not doing anything. Stern Lesson. So they're playing Big Is It of some sort. So they're going to try to ramp up into their Big Is It spells. So we're going to have to see if we can do better than them. That's fine. So probably like Titan's really good. I could attempt to ramp a little bit. See if they allow it. You can counter it, but then you can't draw a card, so it's up to you. Five. Battalion. Exactly what I thought they were going to do. We'll get it for 6. Whitestone, Weakstone, I don't know. We could Revelry and draw. I should have played Wandering Emperor.
I've learned much during my travels. Let me show you.
See what they want to do.
Must protect the people.
Could get another land and then possibly play Titan next turn if they leave open mana. I feel like me throwing a Wandering Emperor on them throws a wrench in their plan because they're more than likely wanting to deal with the battlefields. They do have Trample, so if they go all in at Wandering Emperor, I mean, there's no point in attacking. Could trade 1. That's fine. And if they all go in at Wandering Emperor, then there's no point. They could have just went in with 2 and killed Wandering Emperor, so I'm not going to block.
I'll be back.
Depopulate's not bad. And they're still stick, so it's like they want to draw a card. Do you think they sacrifice to counter this? They definitely counter this. It's just a matter of do they sacrifice to counter. We'll do the Mightstone, Weakstone, and see what they want to do about it. More than likely it's going to get countered. They don't. So I guess we'll just -5, -5, 1. Stern Lesson. Okay. So I guess they feel like that's better than getting their Reckoner Bakebuster down a token. In a way it does. I guess they get their ramp spell. They are at only 7 mana. They're 2 away from possibly getting out the creature. Land. Bankbuster. Or Fable of the Mirror Breakers. Fine. What else? You attack for 4. Another Breed? Sure. Attack for 2. Okay. I guess we'll just swing it for 2. They're going to prevent the 1. We'll depopulate. They're going to draw a card. Which is fine. Can't counter drawing a card. And now they'll just guard 2. Nothing. They don't discard anything. Interesting. Land. Counter. Land. Kind of Industry. Destroy. Where are you going? Where are you going? I'm doing my thing. If you're liking the content on the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It definitely helps out a lot. Also, if you want to go the extra mile, you can simply click the join button. You can join the channel and become a member for as little as $1. That will also help support the channel. Now back to the next game. Opponent goes first. Hand is fine. Delver. I don't know. Every time I play a deck that plays Delver, they never flip it on turn 1. But Didn't flip it. It's always the trap with Delver decks. I think we sunset and gain a little bit of life back. And didn't flip it again. None of their things have trample, so that's good for us. All right. Now it has trample. Though, I guess because they don't want Delver to die, they're not going to target anything with Delver unless they have a way to pump it. Seems like a weird idea then if you're not going to attack in with it to pump it. No attacks. Still no flips. 4 mana. Infantry. Are they going to go in again? That's fine. Keep the top card. Maybe it's probably a spell if that's the case. No blocks. Land. See if they block at all. All right, we get 1 point of damage in. And then we wipe the battlefield. Sure. That's fine. So they have burn? I'm guessing. We'll do this for 2. See if they want to counter it. We'll just throw some chumpers on the battlefield. I'm not really worried about them to be mana, but that's fine. I mean, it resolves, so that's always good. So if, depending on what they do here, I may just not block. All right, return Inferno in. We're going to cast a second spell. Sure. The second one doesn't count as a cast because it's like a copy. It doesn't, you didn't cast it. All right, Might Stone, Weak Stone's cool. And -5. So now they're top decking to try to burn us out, more than likely. Delver. Nothing. Yeah, we'll play another one. We'll keep this one. We'll draw 2. Just want to be on the safe side. You never know. Consider's fine. So I guess they're going to maybe set up the top of their deck. I don't know. All right, down to 10. 2 cards in hand, 5 mana. Sweet. And this is more than likely where they're going to scoop on us because they don't have anything to protect. And we're just going to Portal. Delay it enough until they scoop. All right, and we are back. So, I mean, overall, the games went fairly well. The deck does okay. There are some problems where in the more aggressive matchups, if you're not drawing your board removals or any way to disrupt what they're doing in the early game, that's where we struggle with the deck. I did make a minor adjustment to the deck as I was playing through it, just because I felt like I wasn't drawing them consistently or enough that I felt comfortable with it, and that was with the board removal. So I just added in 1 additional copy of Depopulate and added 1 additional card in Silex is really all I changed, and I just cut down on 2 lands just because we were already playing 28, and I felt like I was drawing a bunch of lands instead of really drawing anything from the deck. So I felt like that was a decent exchange. So we still are playing 26 lands and a bunch of spells. But overall, I mean, the deck does as well. It's a fun deck. It's not like a deck I think it's okay. I don't think it's super competitive if that's what you're looking for. But if you're looking to just have some fun with some of the artifact spells, some of, play with a card that maybe doesn't see a ton of play, this is definitely not a bad shell to play if you're looking to play one with the multiverse. But let me know guys think down in the comments below whether or not you like these style of decks. If you like the video, hit that like button. Definitely helps out a lot. If you're new here, you want to post new videos like this one here on the channel, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video.